and welcome to another exciting episode of The Big Conversation, where we dig into the real issues, or we dig in deep, unfiltered and relatable. It's always a full table with laughs, stories, heated takes, and those moments where you actually think. As always, we'll kick things off with a quick look at the headlines making waves, and then we dive into our main gist of the day. And trust me, it's one everyone can always relate to. Today we're talking body image and self-worth, especially in a world that constantly tells us how we should look. From media pressure to personal struggles, we're unpacking what it truly means to embrace body positivity, to promote self-acceptance and love ourselves just as we are. My name is Osara Masaba. Most people know me as the Edo Queen, or the ringleader for the Gen Zs on this table. So sit tight, grab a friend, and get ready to talk it out. But first, we start with the papers with my beautiful, beautiful ladies. Yeah. Hi, ladies. Yeah.
Good morning.
How are we feeling this Tuesday? It's like the first official work week, because I feel like everybody has been chilling too much. Everybody's been chilling too much. Exactly. And then there's another public holiday coming.
Wow. You lucky people.
Well, let's see what's on the headlines. Ziti, what do you have?
Okay, so mine is from the Daily Trust newspaper. It's talking about the flood all over Nigeria. So residents resist evacuation, they seek help. Now, we're looking at this story. There's a lot in it. There's going to be like 32 states that are also at risk of this flood. Our dear Oyo State is also one of the states that have been highlighted. And it's not easy for people that are living somewhere and you tell them that you want to remove them because of flood. So they are resisting. They don't want to leave the place. They are just asking the federal government to help them where they are. Now, we're looking at this. Makwa in Niger State, 200 people were killed and 500 persons are still missing. Yeah. Then looking at the story altogether, I found out that they knew that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And let me give you the statistics that we have. 39.62 billion was released by the federal government to the national, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, was released to FAAC. That's the people in charge of this, the ecological crisis. So they were supposed to have used this money to prepare for this disaster. And then our vice president also said like 3 billion was released to each state for natural disaster. So where are we?
So we can't say at this point that the government didn't put certain things
they
in
did.
Because
so that's the shocking part of it. So I'm not wondering where are all the resources?
Well, I think it's a thing of the money and also the people, because we see that some of them actually didn't want to leave. Yes. People in some Bayelsa, for example, it said like the residents, they built wooden cars even within the already damaged homes. Other people still, were in their homes despite it already being affected by the flood. So maybe it's a thing of they just don't want to let go of,
people are very
sentimental and attached to their
homes,
things.
and of course I can imagine.
But I mean, if it's detrimental to your life, won't you go?
Of course they should, because even if they have to rebuild the place, they have to still live. But my problem that I'm focusing on right now this morning is, if we already knew that this was going to happen, and this amount of money that we're talking about was released to states to come, so what would we do to get ready for this disaster? Because other states are still going to be affected. Out of 36 states, like 32, it's just waiting. It's a disaster waiting to happen. So what are they going to do about it? That's the question this morning.
Now, what comes to my mind is, were we throwing money at the problem? Because we shouldn't just we're budgeting. You don't just release money unless it's earmarked for certain things. I'm sure that the bulk of the response we had in mind was evacuation, not necessarily anything structural, because it would take time. And by the time we heard that all these states were going to be flooded, we had approximately 2-3 months to prepare. Building at that point, and you know the way it is with governments, you will do bid that will not succeed. Somebody will try to get their family to bid, so it was going to be messy. So I'm sure that the only plan was evacuation, and that's what we now have a problem with, because the people don't want to move.
Okay, so where are they taking them to?
That's the thing, because they've spent all of this money. They spent all of this money on this situation before it actually happened. I don't think anybody is crazy. If they had seen like a process or a plan put in place for them, I don't think anybody would just decide to die.
Exactly.
So I think that's just like Jumoke said, it's fair to say that they did throw money at the problem, just to say we did something. But what did you put in place? What were the things put in place to ensure that these monies were used appropriately and also to help resettle these people?
The first thing would have been to educate the people. It looks like it's after the disaster happened that they are now telling them to move. They don't even understand the magnitude of what has happened. Because what has happened, this is the beginning of the rains. They have not even seen anything. Exactly. They've not seen anything yet.
There's still more to come.
I think that the resistance also comes because they don't know enough. We need to bridge the knowledge gap first. People won't be so resistant to change if they understand why. If they understand the implications. We're talking millions of lives that would be affected eventually. So if they understood how bad it would get, then easily.
Absolutely.
Like you said,
if they showed them where I'm taking you to this settlement.
Yes, this is where you're going to be.
I'm not showing you anything. I just say you want to take me to where exactly.
Because so just like she said, we're just getting launched into the rainy season. I mean, even here in Oyo State, even in my estate, this thing that used to open to allow cars to go in, the rain already affected it. We see roofs being removed. We see, a building, along Dubai was already, was brought down. So I think we are already seeing that this rain is not small. Now the onus is now on the government to, okay, we've not educated so far, we've not done this so far. Let's start making active steps so that the damage has already been done, will not be carried over. Then we'll actually have no excuse.
Absolutely. And do you think that 200 people died?
200, 500 are missing.
And 500 are missing.
So and then damaged lives, damaged properties as well. Sad stories, but let's hope and pray. As always. Ronnie, what do you have on your headline?
All right, my headline says fake genotype results fuel rise in sickle cell births, broken homes. And this one, at first when I read the headlines, I thought it must be because I remember when I was much younger, my genotype, I was told I was a certain genotype, but then years after when I did it again, I realized that yes, it was different. So at first when I saw the headline, I thought it was that, labs again, mixing people's genotype. But apparently these are couples, this is a Muslim community, actually complaining that some of their couples, all in a bid to marry this person at all costs, are faking genotype results.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. They are the ones faking genotypes. For premarital counseling, you are, required to submit it. Yes.
But do they realize that they're harming themselves? Exactly. Because there's a lot of, I don't know if we know, like sickle cell warriors, the passion they have in trying to spread the word is not because they just want to spread, but because they actually don't want people to experience what they're experiencing. And to now see that it's because of love.
Exactly. And
you will now go and
no. I mean, this mosque, what they did was they now started, they'll conduct the test themselves and stop them from getting married. I don't know if you can stop people from getting married, but you can educate people. But then, unfortunately, some people are educated, because I know people personally who got married knowing that they were AS. Wow. Luckily, one of the couples, they actually are lucky. They've had 2 children.
It's God that helped them.
I don't know. I don't know how I can advise, because not
everybody can risk it.
I have a sister who is, a sickle cell warrior. So I know the kind of pain. I know how she would miss exams. I know how painful it is. So when I see couples who do this, okay, we love each other and we'll pray about it and all of that, I'm just always side-eyeing them, because
that love.
Exactly. These are things that have broken homes.
Yeah. Precisely.
So seeing your children in pain is something that I know have broken marriages. Seeing how much money you have to spend, and then obviously losing losing this child at an early age as well. These are things that break homes, and at the end of the day, you don't think about love when you're in the throes of pain and sickle cell. So for couples who are there who are more enlightened, I think you can still find love. I believe.
Emotional decisions.
Exactly.
Love is hardly ever enough. If you decide you want to go ahead, then please have your tubes tied, have a vasectomy, and then go ahead and adopt. I mean, there are options.
And that's actually an option.
So just make sure that you are making sure you're not bringing any trouble into the world. Yes. And then take active steps to, if you love enough to get married in spite of it, then you love enough to do all the background work.
And I know there are things that with the technology, there are things you can do now to determine if your child or your child's genotype. But then do you want to go through the pain of, you decide, you determine this one is SS, you remove it. The next one is SS, you remove it.
Why?
So it's...
And then, of course, we are still on the fence in relation to is it ethical to terminate after you are conceived, you know, so there are a lot of sides to the story.
Well, Jumoke, what do you have on your headline?
Well, I saw it in a few dailies, but it's from the Nigerian Tribune. Abacha did not annul June 12 election. Never stole money.
Sorry about that.
Drink your coffee. Is that natural, or are you reacting to this?
Drink your coffee.
I'm wondering that, are we dreaming or something? I don't understand.
No, people can change the narrative.
I don't understand.
I saw that, I was just like that.
So,
don't say Nigeria that we all need.
so I had to wonder that, okay, is it because there are so many Gen Zs and Gen Alphas that were not alive in 1993?
Let me speak for my people. I was not there. But stories I heard, the songs that were created.
Exactly.
And these children are still living today. Where does she think the money?
Let's even live on. We know that it is the prayer of the saints in Nigeria that took out your husband.
Before he died, I remember how I was in usage.
There was rejoicing.
People were running all over.
Yes.
It was like we were delivered.
Yes.
From this,
you know, and then somebody's trying to come and change the story. And then she's admonishing all of us.
That's what.
You know, sing the praises of your leaders. Don't spoil their reputation. This man kept the money for Nigeria.
But he disappeared.
Why did not? I mean, I know Obama's and co. I mean, American presidents are not like it's not like they're perfect. But why is it that they are not? People are not saying things about them.
Exactly.
Aside from that, anybody that opposed him in public died within a month or two. What are you saying exactly? Can you change the facts with a conversation?
No, ma'am.
People knew him to be. People knew him to be ruthless. Me, I know to talk. I beg you.
People just knew to tell our stories. We must put it in books. We must put it in animated series. Let people, let our children's children know. There are people. We still remember the Mobutu Sese Sekos and all those other
people.
History must continue to be told. Our children must never forget what the Abachas did to
I think history should be made compulsory in schools because
relatable history in a way that is relatable to the
and
children.
can also remember, because I was discussing it this morning with my husband in the car, and then I was saying, I was asking him like his own perspective and what he remembers, and then he's like, to be honest, what he remembers is residue of what his father had told him. And I'm like, even what I remember is from the bits and pieces of government. And they were like, to be honest, history should be compulsory. I mean, in America, history is compulsory up until a certain age. Nigerians don't know our history. We don't know our history. If you say, come and tell us about the first regime or the first, before we became a democracy, when it was still military, can you tell who was, when did the National come? When did, we actually do not know.
We used to do that when we were
I remember too.
They used to tell us all this story.
There was actually a time it was taken out of the curriculum, but it's back.
It became, it's optional. History is
optional.
It's now
optional.
Yes, and even either the government, it was still optional.
Because someone's going to read this story now. I bet you we know because we know better. People are going to read that story, and that's what they're going to believe.
And they'll be feeling poor.
And see, that's a saint.
Everybody is ganging up against
one Nigeria, one when she wears clothes like you know that somebody's coming. When I looked at her at the video, I said, hey, this is how life just ends. Live well and live good stories, you know. Very
well, I mean, June 12th is around the corner, so let's hope that we remember the good parts, of the actual essence of democracy in the country. Real quick before we pivot, my headline is from Daily Independent, and it talks about PFAs, that's Pension Fund Association. They turn to creative industry to reach informal sector. So they're basically trying to employ like celebrities and RMD, a few others to encourage people in the informal sector, like people who maybe are business owners or have less than 3 employees, that they should actually register for, their pension, right? Register, solicit, so I think they've probably seen that people are not particularly motivated or interested in signing up for their pensions.
That's sad because
the money is they're not getting the money.
That's it. I think people have not seen the benefits. In fact, I remember that when we used to watch Super Story, there was a particular one that what the idea people had about pension is when you retire, you're going to wait outside their gates and you are knocking. Some people sleep there and they don't get their pensions. So now for people who are not maybe educated, the market woman, if you tell her to do pension,
She will not
you
do
want to go and carry the
Well,
money. What do you want to do if, you know, what do you need it for?
A lot of people in private
Even
organizations,
educated,
they
yes.
don't. Private organizations, they
Yes,
don't.
they won't.
A lot of times you find that at the end of the day, after leaving an organization, whatever they have been saving for you was not being saved.
Yes, you don't get
Real
anything.
story.
Yeah.
But now it's statutory, and I know that I've spoken to a few people who refuse to do it for their organizations because of the history. You know, at some point in our history in Nigeria, this history we are not teaching. You know, there were some people that actually embezzled pension funds, and so those people lost out on everything
and
they
it happened
saved.
recently.
No, we
maybe
still
like 5 years
discuss
ago.
it on
Someone
this
still
table.
embezzled. I can't remember what's the name
It's
of
not
this guy.
embezzling.
Now, the thing
looted
is,
for the organization.
The government borrowed the money, and they are trying to borrow to pay.
yes, but if you have an RSA and you get alerts every month,
You
know
should
how
be
much
able
is
to
standing
keep
to
up.
your credit.
True.
So
True.
you are not likely to lose that. Now, the current pension regime is such that if you're out of job for as much as 3 to 6 months, you can actually access 25, irrespective of your age. You access 25% of whatever is standing to your credit to start a business or keep body and soul together. Now, this they will release to you. The government is borrowing from the PFAs, but it's not borrowing directly from you. And so, you know, it's just the same way banks transact. It's the same way treasury bonds and bills are done. So your money is not disappearing because the government has borrowed. You know, you will still have access to your funds. Or people over 50, I now understand that they can actually get their money to do business, apply for a certain amount. So it actually starts to your credit at the end of the day. This is a much better situation, especially for people who are not disciplined. Most people cannot discipline themselves to
Keep
save a
something away.
percentage
Put money
of
aside.
their income. So your pension fund actually guarantees that you will not be stranded.
But if they get it when they need it,
They will get
as well.
it.
I think-
Sorry,
But
I'm
we have
talking from
stories of
experience.
people
I'm talking
that-
from experience. And so maybe, just maybe, this is the time to select your PFA based on knowledge. You know, find out what's their track record, who is working with them, who has registered with them, what's their own experience when they try to get money, you know. The same way you scrutinize the banks, who is giving you zero charges, you know, before you pick a bank, pick your
should do
PFA.
same.
You have a choice. It's not by force to join one. And when you see that, okay, so this company is better managed, you side with that and you keep on top. Now they even assign, I know I was sent an SMS from my PFA telling me who my account officer is. So I can actually talk to my PFA and ask them, sorry, please, how much is there? How much can I access? You can have conversations. You know, the era of mystery is gone. You know, you should be able to
what
have
we need-
conversations around
if
it.
do you have a say if your company would, you know, choose the PFA? I mean, they've chosen it for you. That will you be able to tell your company that I don't want to be under?
Yes,
this?
you do.
If
you
you
can
have
actually
one
move
before,
PFA.
you can just submit your RSA number to the organization. Because if you've worked somewhere else before and they've been remitting your pension there, there will be no need for you to now create another, you know, account just because you're moving organization. So all you need to do is, you know, submit that, you know, number and then it's remitted.
I just know
It's
getting
remitted.
old in Nigeria and not having something to fall back
It's
on
not
is
good.
not something anybody
not.
wants. So it's so important.
Don't stay on that. Just make your plan B or you have a
We
backup
really
plan.
just need transparency and trust, to be honest. Transparency and trust. Well, those are the headlines. You know, we'll take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to dive into the main gist of the day. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back to the big conversation. From the mirror to the media, body image is a big deal. Whether you're curvy, slim, tall, short, or brief in height, or somewhere in between, society always seems to have an opinion. But the question is, do you love what you see? It's time to talk about body positivity. So grab your tea, your thoughts, and maybe your throwback photos, because today it's real talk about beauty, confidence, and self-worth. So ladies,
did you say throwback pictures? Not many people want to see those throwback pictures.
Because I mean, when a lot of people would see how they were before, and then see how they are now, either they are pleased or they are like, oh, I'm still not even there yet, or oh my gosh, I remember when I was looking this way and how I was feeling, and then it brings all the emotions
especially
back.
After childbirth,
especially oh, as it just says, because to be very honest, personally, I mean, when I was still, that's when I was still younger.
I saw the picture.
Before I do born, right? When I was still in school, right? I mean, I was, you know, much slimmer. And a lot of people have insecurities. Many people are also not sensitive enough to know how to address those, right? Or relate with people, not knowing that they're probably dealing with stuff. A lot of people make comments like, you are too slim. If you do like this, breeze will blow you away. And nobody actually would even consider to think how I am actually feeling. Right. The amount of mental stress it takes to pick out something to wear, because I'm trying to think of, oh, will this one give me negative comments, or will this one, you know, garner some form of attention that I do not need? So I mean, when we're speaking body positivity, and you know, there's also like a lot of background in like insecurities. Is it just about the looks, or you know, is there a bit of self-worth? Is there a bit of identity and also confidence, you know, intertwined in this now?
Right. Well, I've always been very slim and very small, and not slim. It's very small, always the smallest in my class, always the one being asked to stand in front of the line. So, I mean, I'm not sure I became very conscious of that was different until maybe people started teasing me, short man devil.
Are you serious? Were you mysterious? Were you mysterious?
Well, not really, but I had to be, because at one time people really did start bullying me, because I was always the smallest in the class. So someone would just come and just knock me on the head and just run off.
Oh my God.
You know, so things like that, you know, I would just really trigger me, and I became very aggressive. And I always wanted to prove that, you know, I'm small, but don't mess with me. And I think that's where Ronnie G was born. Don't mess with me because I'm small, because I will mess with you back. You know, so I mean, so yeah, that's always been it for me. But in time, also because my friends kind of sprouted before I did, the breast, the everything. So I was the one that, you know, like I said here before, I was holding bags for my friends while the boys are toasting them. Oh my gosh. Because I was so flat. So I was like when I was in SS2, I still looked like I should be in GSS3.
Oh wow.
You know, so so that some of those things were the things that made me conscious of, okay, my friends are getting more attention from boys. Obviously it's because I'm, you know, but now come on. Who's laughing now?
I mean, but when we see, or when we talk about insecurities, right, would we say most of it stems from social media, or the pressure from social media? Because, okay, well, in your time now, I don't know if there was a lot of social media then, but like now, we see a lot of people, if you speak to, I mean, during Children's Day, we spoke to the children, and then they said a lot of things like, oh, people are doing this, people are doing this. So there's actually a lot of pressure on social media, and when it now comes to the outlook, especially when there's a certain, this is how, like, you know, a lady should look like, or this is how, like, a man should look like, would most of the pressure now be coming from social media? Or would we just say it's an internal thing, or you have to, you know, personally speak to yourself and, oh, I'm beautiful, I'm fine, I'm elegant, right? Especially now in the fashion industry now, DT. I don't know if you see people maybe translate some of those their insecurities that, please, as I'm sewing this clothes, it must snatch. You know, they're making specific requirements just because of, oh, I need to look this way.
Yes, I think we have a lot of pressure now because people are they've redefined what they want to see as when it comes to fashion, what a woman should look like, what makes it makes a beautiful woman. We've redefined it. Before, you know, when we were growing up, I never had anybody. You know, it doesn't really matter to us. But and I grew up. I mean, I love when I look in the mirror. I like what I see. I don't have any, up till now, I still like what I see. I don't have any issue. But I noticed that this generation, because we've defined what fashion should look like, what a beautiful woman should look like, and then we are always comparing you know, yourself with the other person to define who you are. We shouldn't be. So a lot of self-esteem issue is there. A lot of, you know, letting what people actually say from outside affect the way you think about yourself is also there. And then now the pressure of social media. If you're not looking like this, if you're not presenting yourself like this, you are not meeting up to a particular standard. So I think we have pressure, yes, we do. But now, it now depends on you, how you will like, you know, you accept the pressure that is coming from outside, or how you want to brace yourself against what is being, you know, I mean, promoted as beautiful. I think every woman is beautiful. In your own right, you are beautiful. God is very dynamic. He didn't, I mean, create all of us in the same way. There's a reason he did that, so that there is, you know, varieties. But everybody, what a man likes in you is not what another man likes in another woman. We should understand that. It's not until you have big boobs, big backside, or your waist is, we are all different. So, but you see that it stems from, I want to be accepted by somebody else. I want to be seen as I meet the standards created by somebody else. No, it shouldn't be so. So that's my own. I think we have a lot of pressure from social media, and then from the type of association we also keep. What is their own standard of what you should look like? So I stay away from people that put pressure on me. I want to be me. So don't try and box me and say this is how I should look like, this is how we should look like. No. So when you see people like that, stay away from them, and stay away from, there are some pages I don't go to on social media.
Just because
I don't, I keep my, I want to be sane. I don't want any issue. So when I see them doing their drama, I just move. I don't want to. So, but people feed on these things. They feed on those pages on daily basis. You are measuring yourself comparing themselves. What's the name of this woman now? The Vicky James. You are measuring yourself with what she's doing. You are just going to die. You just don't die young. That's just so. That's my own, you know.
I actually think that we have more pressure from the people in our lives than from social media. Yes. And I feel that how much of a success you'll be able to make from it is directly linked to the immediate people whose opinions you actually already value. You know, it determines whether you have a self-esteem problem or not. Like Osare said, I was the breeze carrying much younger. I know that up till when I had the first child, I was about 47 kg.
What? Wow.
Yes. And after I went back to 55. I got up to 80 when I was pregnant, but I went back to 55. Wow. So my earliest memory of being ridiculed was I went to buy a drink from a hotel close to my house, and there was a woman there who just looked at me and said, "Oh, sorry." And I'm like, "Okay, for what?" And she goes, "Oh, aren't you SS?" You know, and I'm like, I don't understand why. Look at you now. I mean, you're so skinny, it has to be. You know, and then I got home and mentioned it to my dad, who sent me there. And my dad left his drink, left his food, got up, dressed up, and
thank you very much,
and said, "You have to check out whichever guest said that to my child." And you know, the affirmations came from there. So I was sure that the problem wasn't me. The problem was the woman. And so if I ever meet anybody that repeats that kind of treatment, I understand. Exactly. My daddy says I'm fine. You know, so. What if he had thought, "Hey, it's because you are skinny, sorry." You know, it would have damaged me. Because there's some people who you have put in a position to declare over you. And so those people have greater power than social media to actually affect how you perceive yourself. How he had reacted would have determined whether I would have thought there was something wrong with my body or not. You know, even now, that is now a tummy issue. You know, I always have a problem when I go somewhere and then they say, "Hey, how many months?" And I'm like,
what's that thing they say?
It's Okale Afani. I'm trying to get on the train. You know, and so I take a look and I'm like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Aren't you pregnant? No, I'm not. And I love myself anyway.
Precisely.
You know, so people put comments, through their comments put pressure on us. But that pressure is never the same. Like the pressure from the people in your household. So when the people in your household begin to think you need to look a certain way, then you might have a bigger issue. You can scroll off when it's social media. You can block your page. But when you are in bed with somebody who is telling you, "So what are you doing about this, your thumb?"
So true.
You know, you begin to feel pressured.
I was going to say, when we're growing up, I think our social media were mostly a lot of people, their parents. Because I always, my mom, I love you, mom, but I'm going to put her on blast. Because we always call my mom a fattist. My mom, I think, because my mom too was very skinny when she was younger, so after she had kids, she blew up. You know, and then I think maybe because she didn't want her children to blood pressure. So even when you were skinny, my mom would say, you're already getting fat. And
you're eating too much.
Yes, you're eating too much. And we had this in our at the back of our, and I think that is like still a trauma thing for me that's kept me. Every time I find, I look in the mirror, even till now, and I'm like, and I see this jiggle, I'm already like,
hey, God, I beg.
Exactly. So to say that, sometimes you're, just like you said, sometimes the people who are near and dear to you are the ones who can put that trigger thing in your mind that, okay, there's something. And so for me, I was always trying to avoid getting fat, getting big, etc. So for a period of time, my problem was now like, okay, let me not eat too much. And I could have turned into a bulimic person.
I was going to say
what's the other illness? As anorexic person. Because there were times I was like, okay, let me not eat today because my tummy is coming out. So for a lot of people, a lot of young girls, it starts from the home. People are supposed to be telling you, you look great. You look, I mean, I know your kids test you. They say, mommy, what do you think? So you don't fall for the bait. Yes, their tummy may have come out at that point in time, but you look fine. I know my daughter does that. So maybe after she's eating, like, mommy, look at my tummy. You look fine. You look fine. So it's so important because a lot of us, it started from our parents who were always just particular about us.
I think there's so much education we need to give to parents and older ones, because I was having a conversation with someone who's much older, and we're basically just trying to let her know that if you see someone, maybe they've lost weight or they've become bigger, it's not something you should say. Yes. Like, you have lost weight. You are not big. What are you eating? Especially if you're, I don't know, depending on your relationship with the person. And then she genuinely, I know it was, out of genuine concern. She was like, but if I notice, that this person is bigger, why can't I say it? That maybe the person is going through something. It's like a cue for me to know what's going on with the person. I'm like, no, it's not okay.
Yes. People in their 70s don't think.
It's not okay. It's not okay. Even if your relationship with someone is, really tight, there are still ways you can inquire to just be sure that the person is mentally fine or, physically fine. But they're just comments like that people shouldn't say, why are you so short? It's like you did not collect the gene, the proper gene. Or I see your, even complexion. I mean, it's height, complexion.
Thank you. You're getting dark. Why are you dark? You're getting dark. Okay.
What are you, oh my gosh, what are you using for your, oh my goodness.
I broke out in a lot of, I had acne. Oh, even when I was going to buy sweets. Have you tried urine? Your first urine. I one time I was like, everyone just leave me alone.
Oh my goodness.
People don't know how to not make
comments. They really don't.
It's an African thing, perhaps.
Boundaries. And even aside like females, because we see a number of times females are the ones we focus on when we talk about insecurities and body positivity. But then research even has it that about 30 to 40% of men are also experiencing insecurities about how they look. It could be because they're bald or because they don't have as much muscles as the standard man should have, because this is what ladies are looking for. They're not beard gang. There's one thing or the other. But I don't know if we had a man on the table, maybe we would have asked. But I think maybe it's a thing of because men have been conditioned to not speak up about things. Oh, men shouldn't cry. Men shouldn't show too much. They shouldn't be emotional. So they are going through these things, but they're not saying it. They're actually not speaking. Sometime May last year, Jay Oner is a content creator. He made this post and he basically just shared how for the longest time, he even struggled to make that post. For the longest time, he had been going through so much insecurities about his height and his body in general. And this is someone who shows up constantly on social media, but nobody knows what he's going through. And then he's walking somewhere, someone else says, you're very funny, but you're so short. And it will just hit him where it hurts the most, right? So I think there's a lot of, let's be maybe
nice with whatever
filtering what we're saying. If you are thinking it, you don't have to say it. You actually do not have to say it. Now, knowing that, okay, we have these insecurities where everybody's going through what they're going through. We're now like transitioning into self-love and acceptance. Knowing that, okay, this is who I am. You've spoken about, affirmations. This is who I am. How do you get to the point of, yes, I know people will talk, but I still need to love and accept myself for who I am and for how I look? How do it?
Living in the present is like the best way to go about that. I would use the male example. I have friends who believed they were too skinny, right? But they needed to love themselves first. This is how I am now. But then living in the present and understanding there's a future is you taking control of what you don't like now. Not because everybody says it, but if you do not like it, take charge of it and then take some positive steps to get to where. So I had friends that bulked up with food and then went to the gym, and he was able to gain as much as 20 kg body mass, you know, and now he's all that muscular and everybody is going screaming. And you know, some of us know where he's coming from. Funny enough, same thing happened to me in March. Somebody was, I would call it commiserating with my husband over whatever fibroids she imagined I had, because I had a big tummy, you know, and my husband was unnice enough to tell me that the person said so, you know. So what did I do? I had to sit down, like, okay, I have a lot of emotions going on. Do you like it? If you like it, then it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. And then I also realized, okay, I've been wearing a lot of peplum tops because I don't want anybody to talk about it. That means I'm uncomfortable. Let me do something about it. So in the month of April, I went on a low-calorie diet, lost as much as 10 kg.
Ooh,
for me.
yes, girl. Yes.
No, so in that moment, I am me. I own my body. I live here. I mean, this is my home. But I can beautify my home for me. So you take positive steps to get you in the direction of what you desire. But the wrong thing is to do it for anybody else apart from yourself.
Absolutely. I just want to jump on that to also say that for me, I just realized that nobody's perfect.
Even
if Halle Berry can be complaining, who are we mere mortals? You know, I'm sure that sometimes Halle Berry also looks at herself and she's even tired of being called pretty. I saw in a headline recently that she said she was just waiting for someone to tell her, give her a compliment other than you are pretty. Wow. So if someone like that is tired of being, so for me also, because I remember after I had my baby as well, I had this big bulge in my tummy. I've also, I mean, there's been fibroid, there've been all sorts. So, you know, so I always tell people that if you can change it, change it. If you can't, leave it. You know, because even the people that are criticizing you, they're criticizing you because it helps them to focus on your own weakness and your own shortcomings and leave their own. So for them, it's nice because then they're able to, you know, not think about their own shortcomings. So for me, I also went on, I started doing some workouts that have actually helped me and my tummy a lot. I share it in the group already. So I hope that's they are low up, because it was this app I found which was called Lazy Fit. So it helps you to do workouts in bed. Because for me, so I don't like going to the gym. Anything that's going to take me out of my house, having to go to the gym. Stress. So I found this app called Lazy Fit, and it's helped me. There are workouts I do on my bed, and trust me, it has transformed my stomach muscle. Because a lot of women after having babies have what you call diastasis recti. You know, and so their muscle in their tummy sort of opens up. But these workouts can help. So if you can do something about it, do it. If you can't, know that the person who's pointing it out is also just pointing it out because it helps them to lose, you know, not pay attention to their own shortcomings. Exactly, wear heels. I wear heels. Thank you.
At least you cannot add to your height.
There's nothing.
Just big heels and look good.
Yes, I used to be called big head. Now, I mean, I just think about it. I've had, you know, so there have been also people just point out all of these things. There's nothing I can do about there's no surgery I can do with about my round big head. But now I just style my hair. I style my hair.
Pretty, babe.
And that's because I've come to own, you know, myself and my space, and that look, I am gorgeous, I am beautiful, and I don't care what anyone thinks.
Yes, I don't care.
Precisely. The same way we magnify, you know, the voices of people around us and how, you know, we use that to hold over ourselves, we should also give our voice that much authority. So if people are saying, oh, you are this, you are that, let your own voice be louder than their own. And tell yourself, I am beautiful, I am elegant, right? You know, my mother-in-law would say something, I am the best version for my destiny. Absolutely. So if someone says, oh, you are too tall, I'm the best version for my destiny. You are too short, I am the best version for my destiny, because everyone is wonderfully and beautifully made. If we all looked alike, this world will not be sweet.
And can I just chip in? I know we've all at some point seen some girl who we all thought, okay, she's not that, but the way she walks into the room, the way she owns this thing,
confidence.
So true beauty is from inside. Because look at, what's this girl, Majimbo, Esther Majimbo, who started the my haters on Instagram.
Yes.
Do you see her now? She's not what you call a, you know, a conventional beauty, but man, that girl, she doesn't care. Owns her space. So just tells you that also it's really just about what's inside.
So I also think we should also, you know, look at yourself. What are your strengths? What are the areas that you are good? You know, magnify it, work on it, like we said. You know, what are the areas that I know that people usually compliment me? Work on that place very well, so that it covers up for whatever,
everything
whatever
else.
other area. That's what people would see when you know it, because at times we don't know it. Maybe the way you dress, what styles actually fit your figure. So come and read about it. What is my stature? Know it. Am I apple shaped? Am I am I this? So when you know it, then look at what type of outfit actually promote what I do. So when you understand it, you dress accordingly. It's not that you look some way, then you are dressing another way that will make people to easily see that you have issues. You know, at times you were saying when you take pictures, you know, decide that it's
yes,
your
yes,
hand.
good answer.
Can I see that picture? I don't want to. You have to know you. You have to know yourself. So when you know that, you push those out, and then covers up for all the
small money, and
yes, that's all.
You're not ugly.
Amazing. I mean, I love that we've covered, you know, confidence. We've covered affirmations. We've also covered the fact that people need to watch their mouth, filter your mouth. You really don't know what another person is going through. Let's be kind, not just to ourselves, but to other people as well. We will talk more and more, but this time will not be enough. But we'll go on a quick break to look at our life hack, and when we get back, we would have our agree or disagree. Don't go anywhere. All right, we hope you find that life hack very useful. Try it out and let us know what you think, okay? So welcome back. We have our agree or disagree segments, loading. We have our signboards with disagree or agree or dagree. So let's have the question on the screen, and we would agree or disagree. All right, people with bigger bodies face more judgments than those who are slim. People with bigger bodies face more judgments than those who are slim. Do you disagree? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And you will defend your answer.
That's my favorite part. Say it again.
Ronnie, do you disagree? Do you agree? Do you agree? And you will defend your answer.
I did in your honor when you're not doing it.
I did. I saw it.
I kind of agree. I kind of agree because I've been on the slimmer side and I've had friends who are bigger, and trust me, I think they face more pressure because number one, their own inner pressure. Hey, there's one of my child's friend who I had to counsel because I hate my body. I hate, she'll just say things about her, and I'm like, I know slimmer people because for a long time, slim was even in. I know there was one time too, Orobo was in. But I feel like slim has been more in my own opinion, yes. Yeah. And I've been the one that's kind of like been at the end, butt of jokes for being slim and all that. But when I see big people, it's like, oh my God, the pressure from within, from without is just a lot. So in my opinion, I feel like people who are bigger go through more pressure because number one, their own pressure, and also because on TV, most times, the Kardashians have also
given us
pressure, exactly, and everybody. I mean, what are people doing? Plastic surgery, most of the time is more to remove than to add. Say many people going to add. It's more really to. So for me, I think is bigger people face more criticism, more pressure than slimmer people.
DT, what do you say?
I'm going to agree also. Yeah, because I see a lot of that, for those who are bigger. Always, if you are bigger, people pick on you more.
Yeah,
they just pick on you. They just
you're about to eat. They're like,
you want to put that food down.
You want to eat again. Yeah.
So I think I agree also that they for the slimmer, we always see those who are slim. I don't even know that slim people used to have this much. What you said now, I'm surprised because cute, and I always see slimmer people as cute and if I see you, I just think, oh, you're cute, you are, you know. But I never knew that they also, pick on slimmer people. For me, it has always been big people. And, you know, my daughter is a little bit on the plumpy side. My husband is also a little bit on the plumpy side. So I'm always on them. No, I don't say it in a bad way. But I just say, you know, mind what you are eating, do this, do that, for health reasons, because I'm always concerned about it. But they have health issues quickly than those who are slimmer. That's just true. So like hypertension, like diabetes and all that. So when you're on the bigger side, you really have to watch what you put in your mouth. So I try to say it in a nice way, but I believe that those who are bigger, you know, have more pressure than the smaller people.
Why do I think I knew that?
Disagree.
Naturally, I would disagree because I am convinced that the pressure is not necessarily from your body size is from your perception of yourself. And my understanding of this pressure is because I was slim. You cannot understand. As in, I was breeze carrying slim. As in, crouch when it's windy.
I'm really surprised.
Crouch when it's windy, kind of slim. And I got so many comments. And now, apart from the comments, you're talking about pressure big people face. I know myself, and I know a lot of people, and I know that when I was in 300 level, I was on a permanent nightly diet of Maltina milk and raw eggs.
Just to put on weight.
Just to put on weight, and I never got past 50.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
You understand? And I was 5'9" already, so it was a breeze. I'm serious, sugarcane kind of thing.
Wow.
My compliments, straight lovely legs, but they call them cassava sticks.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly, and this is not in one place. You hear it in your room, you hear it in your...
Oh my goodness. Wow.
I mean, when my first day in secondary school, I walked in, they had a bridge you had to walk past. And if they were just insulting me, it would have been good. My immediate elder brother was also very skinny. And so they go like, mosque lele yo, aburo mosque, lege mosquito. Oh yeah. So until the people who knew my brother left secondary school, I was mosque or aburo mosque, which is synonymous for mosquito. You see, I know Phyllis with the leg.
Oh my goodness.
I'm well adjusted now, but that put me under so much pressure that I had to eat unhealthy because I just needed a little bit of weight. And if you see me celebrate 2 kg, if you see me celebrate 2 kg, assist,
oh my,
you know, so I understand that it's not, if you're not happy with how you are, you will allow people to push you. Now, I have people who have stayed with me, wards, that have, so, you know, solo tone. You know solo tone? Oh yeah, it's medication that will help you eat. Eat and sleep to gain weight.
Oh my.
You understand? And then they would tell us things like, okay, maybe if you sleep like 12-15 hours a day after eating, the weight will stay in your body. You know, we tried all sorts.
Wow.
So it's because you know big people and the pressure they're under. Slim people are under a lot of pressure as well. Especially when people tell you things like, that cloth is hanging. Or you know, you understand? No shape, nothing, and then which is part of why we're. You say you know people remove it. BBL has come to add. You know, people are adding. Yes.
To their bum and everywhere.
I had a boyfriend in 100 level that asked me, so Jumoke, are you thinking about silicone implants anywhere in the future? And I'm like, guy, how far though? The guy was skinnier than me, so I didn't
hope for the future. You wanted hope for the future.
I was just 17, 18. If I was going to be damaged by that, I would have.
To be honest.
So I don't think people would always talk. It does not matter how good looking you are. Somebody will find something to criticize. So if you let it get into your heart, that's where there's pressure. You know, so it's not about body size, it's not about fair lie, tall, short. There will be pressure.
Just love you.
There will be pressure.
Has she not said it all? Because I mean, I strongly will disagree. Not a lot of people would even have the fortitude that you had, to be honest. If anyone tells this kind of story, they'll probably also follow how they probably were depressed, they were this, they were suicidal, or, you know, so many things. Not a lot of people have, you know, that's
I don't
confidence.
think your Gen Z generation can handle that.
And it's not
I'm depressed.
My mental health.
To be very honest, because that is a lot. Anyways, I disagree because yes, from personal experience, people can be so unkind with their words, and I would you could have said this thing a long time ago, and I would just sit and be thinking of my life, and I would process and process and process, right? Like I said, I would spend so much time thinking of what to wear, or you know, it used to stress me so much, right? It was just so, and times when I would say, oh, I'm looking for how to gain weight, and then some people would say, no, you're okay like this. I'm like, no, but somebody out there is still saying I'm not okay, right? So I mean, I don't think. I shall disagree. Yeah. I really disagree. And just like, you know, we've also established, it's not just even about body size. Yeah. It goes from complexion to height, to how your face looks, you know, to, oh, your fingers are short. You have, I've heard someone say you have sausage hands. So, I mean, people can just be really
you have a disability. How about talking about disability?
Precisely. Yeah. So, I think it's just, it's a whole lot, it's a lot. But anyways, you know, we have wise words on the web, and we're trusting that this would also help us, you know, be better and be kinder. Let's take a look at our wise words on the web. Okay, accepting yourself only as long as you look a certain way is not self-love, it's self-destruction. Accepting yourself only as long as you look a certain way is not self-love. It is self-destruction. That is from Lassie Green. So as we're going out the rest of this week, just remember to love yourself. Don't be that destroying voice to yourself, okay? And we would say that is a wrap on today's conversation. And it's a beautiful reminder that everybody is what is. So whether you're on a journey to self-love, or you're still learning to appreciate your reflection, or just trying to drown out the noise of unrealistic standards, remember this. You are TBC gang. You are more than enough. You are seen, you are valued, you are beautiful, just the way you are. All right, so let's keep spreading kindness, not just to others, but to ourselves. And of course, if you need some form of reassurance, trust us on this table to give it to you. All right, so we'll be back on this table tomorrow, same time, same station, for another episode of The Big Conversation. Bye.